Mr. Armstrong, I do realize that when you were on the moon, you had very little time for gazing upwards. But could you tell us something about what the sky actually looks like from the moon? The sun, the earth, the stars, if any, and so on?
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon. The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible. The Earth is quite beautiful from space and from the moon. It looks quite small and quite remote, but it's very blue and covered with white lace of the clouds, and the continents are clearly seen, although they have very little color from that distance.
What about the sun? Could you see any trace of the corona?
No, the glare from the sun on the helmet visor was too difficult to pick out the corona. The only time we could see the corona was during an eclipse of the sun from the moon, that is when we were flying through the moon's shadow and could observe the solar corona peeking out from behind the moon. We're never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
Neil, you were a little bit concerned, you said about...
Of course, was black, but it had sort of a velvet sheen to it.
Whilst
From Mark Cameron. This is from Mark Cameron.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Because you can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
It's not
which
a
is
black
cool
void.
thing.
I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas. Magellan clouds of the
you
Milky Way
see
galaxy.
the Magellanic clouds.
Magellanic, see, I just wanted the Magellan
there's a large
clouds.
one
I didn't
and
want
a
to
small one, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see the zodiacal lights.
Whoa.
Those are amazing. Right before
the lights
sunrise.
of the zodiac?
The lights of the zodiac. The zodiacal lights, okay? You can see those.
Which are
and
what?
Then you
Explain
can see
those
the
to
upper,
us.
Oh, well,
it's an unfathomable blackness, with a texture you feel like you could stick your hand into.
We can also see stars if we're on the dark side of Earth and planets. And we can see, of course, the sun and the moon. And the blackness of space. We can see the atmosphere of Earth, which is very noticeable. And, sometimes we could see shooting stars or other satellites, although those are really, really hard to see.
I'm very privileged to live aboard the International Space Station and commute to work here every day. And I love pretty much every single minute of it. In the view outside from our cupola module, which has windows on all sides and allows us to see marvelous places, coming and going, and also just gives us that perspective of looking down on the Earth and realizing that we are in an orbiting spaceship, and that when I look out at the stars and I see so many stars and planets, and know that we have a place in the universe, and it's in part of our job is to explore that place.
What are the stars like in space? Like, are they just brighter than on Earth, or how would you describe it?
They're brighter, but they're different. And a lot of things different about it. One, you don't have the atmospheric distortion, so they don't twinkle, right? So you see lots of points, and you see lots of points, and that literally millions of them. There's the thing about Carl Sagan, billions and billions of stars. There really are billions and billions of stars, and you can see them. In fact, they're so numerous, it's very difficult to pick out the constellations you and I see here on the ground.
It's an unfathomable blackness, with a texture you feel like you could stick your hand into.
And I live in Colorado, and you get up on a clear night in Colorado up in the mountains where there's no light and you can see all these stars. Well, multiply that by 1,000. That's what it's like in space. And then when you're outside doing a spacewalk and you have that 1 or 2 opportunities where you can let your eyes adjust, you can start to notice that some of the stars have colors we don't see here on the ground. So you see these pastel colors, light yellows, light pinks, light oranges, even light red ones, and light blue. There's all kinds of colors that you can see in these stars that you can't see here because it's filtered out by the atmosphere.